Well, we follow cases and prosecute cases and turn them over for prosecution, just like any other law enforcement agency does. So when we sweep up somebody who's committed an act of violence like that and turn it over, that is public information that is out there, and people need to know who is perpetuating these crimes, and we continue building cases then on who they're affiliated with. Is there further dangers? Our investigators are some of the best in the country that are out there making sure that not only is that person now incarcerated, but who were they affiliated with that could be another danger that we need to continue to look at.
Amid the ongoing immigration crackdown, more than 5,000 illegal immigrants have been arrested in Los Angeles during sweeping raids. According to the Department of Homeland Security, those arrested include some of the worst offenders, gang members, child predators, and murderers. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem praised the arrests, saying lives were saved and dangerous criminals removed from streets. The detainees come from multiple countries, including Mexico, El Salvador, South Korea, Vietnam, China, and Eritrea, DHS reported. Several of the immigrants in custody reportedly have violent criminal records involving murder, theft, sexual abuse, and crimes against children. Noem declared that American families are now better protected and taxpayers spared the costs of both crime and illegal benefits. In her statement, she vowed that if someone is in the country illegally, DHS will track them, arrest them, and deport them quickly. One of those arrested was identified as a member of the Sureños gang, highlighting DHS's focus on organized crime threats. These arrests are part of large-scale ICE raids that began in June across Los Angeles, including at local homes and businesses.
Charges and convictions, over 70% of them have pending charges against them or criminal convictions. The others all have final removal orders, which means they're eligible to go back home. Nobody's getting swept up. We're running targeted enforcement operations across the country and using our case files and our information to know who is a criminal in this country that needs to be removed and who has a final removal order. Nothing's changed. Huh? What's wrong with our targeting? They're not following the law if they're here illegally. There's a right way to come to this country. And so, yes, I'm talking about criminals in these situations, absolutely. But we also have every situation where we have those that have final removal orders need to go home because their due process is over and they have their papers. 70% of these individuals that we have gone out and arrested and removed from the country have had those pending charges and criminal convictions against them.
I don't expect you to know the details of their specific case, so I wanted to give you a little context that calls for a broader answer on the question. About 4 months ago, ICE publicized the arrest of 2 men that be responsible for a mass shooting in Chicago. Your agency named them, and it got a lot of coverage. However, they have still not been charged in that mass shooting. So my question is whether people sent to prison in El Salvador or 2 men accused here in Chicago of a mass shooting, is it responsible for ICE to publicly accuse people of violent crimes before they've been charged?
Well, we follow cases and prosecute cases and turn them over for prosecution, just like any other law enforcement agency does. So when we sweep up somebody who's committed an act of violence like that and turn it over, that is public information that is out there, and people need to know who is perpetuating these crimes, and we continue building cases then on who they're affiliated with. Is there further dangers? Our investigators are some of the best in the country that are out there making sure that not only is that person now incarcerated, but who were they affiliated with that could be another danger that we need to continue to look at. So
even if they haven't been officially charged?
I would say we follow the exact same process every federal agency does, every state agency does for law enforcement. So we have not changed our methods or how we handle cases or how we even communicate about them than we have since the very beginning, or how the Biden administration did, or the Obama administration. We do it exactly the same. What I wish is you guys would talk about the victims more. How many people were shot in that mass shooting? How many people were victimized? How are their families doing? You all spend so much time talking about the poor justice for these criminals that are harming individuals every single day, and you don't even think twice to go talk to a mom who's now lived for a year and a half without her daughter. Go talk to somebody and see how they're doing, trying to get their kids to school, not sure if they're safe. So I would encourage you to remember that there's always victims in these situations, and many times you're focusing on the one who made them a victim. Yes.
You're able to spend $20 million of taxpayer dollars on training to get people to self-report using the CDP Home app. How many people have actually done that? What's been the return on investment for taxpayers?
Well, actually, the 20 million campaign was to send a message to people that if they were here in this country illegally, that they should go home on their own. If they wait until we arrest them and we have to remove them, they'll never get the chance to come back to the United States. So it wasn't just on the app. It was also encourage them to voluntarily go home. We know thousands and thousands of people have used the app, but we also know that hundreds of thousands of people have left on their own, not utilizing a government program to do so. I've been to, I think, 10 different Central American and South American countries and visited with their presidents, with their foreign ministers, interacted with the Department of State, and over again, I'm hearing that hundreds of thousands of their citizens are coming home voluntarily. They've seen the ads, they've seen the messages on social media that if they go home on their own, they'll get the opportunity to come back to the United States the right way. And so most of these countries as well are setting up programs to welcome their individuals home. They have housing loan programs that they're setting up. They're allowing them to have food assistance for several months. Several of the countries I've recently visited with are training individuals and workers to come home because their economy has a need for those individuals. So sending that message has been extremely helpful in making sure that people know that here we're going to enforce our laws and that there's a right way to come to this country. And you're going to be allowed to do that if you voluntarily leave. We can get it for you, but each specific country has given it to us along the way. But I would say we believe over 1 million people have gone home on their own. Since we have started this administration. Yes. Yes. ICE is always wearing something that identifies them, who they are, and what operation they're out on. I would say that they wear masks at times to protect their identities from dangerous situations. The leadership teams, we leave that up to them to discern what's necessary in certain situations. And with the rise in violence that we continue to see against these officers, with that 1,000% increase, it's making sure that they are safe while they do this job and that they get home to their families at night too is incredibly important. Yes, I would like to see that because they have identification. They have gone into situations and when they have been out looking for these dangerous criminals and have been verbally identifying themselves. And if there is a mask required, it's for their safety because of the situation that they're encountering. Yeah, it'll be within weeks because we're going to give them credit for what they already know. If they're former law enforcement, they already have training and certifications that we will honor and look at. They'll still go through testing. They'll still go through drug testing and physical tests and all of that. But we want to make sure that it's an expedited where we check the box. If they have the experience, then it helps us not keep them stalled out in an academy for weeks at a time. Sure.
How ICE operations have been impeded by sanctuary city policies, if they have, and do you feel like you're still on target to reach the amount of arrests that you would like in those sanctuary areas?
Well, the lack of information sharing is hard. I would say anybody who serves in law enforcement would say they're used to partners. They're used to being able to call up a local law enforcement officer, a sheriff, a highway patrol officer and say, hey, do you have any information on this individual that is a murderer that's been cited in your city? That's not happening in Illinois. And when we're calling on those most dangerous individuals, when they're being released from your prisons, they're not even letting us know, not honoring our detainers. When we lodge a detainer against someone, it's when you let that person out of jail who's been paying the consequences, let us know so that we can pick them up and get them out of the country. Illinois is not partnering with us on that, which is very, very difficult when we know that those dangerous criminals are going to run free. And many times we go into situations where we don't necessarily have the law enforcement to play a backup role. There are times where we bring more individuals in, more federal officers, because we believe we need to do that for security reasons. So we have great partnerships across the country, over 800 of them, with state and local law enforcement in other states. We wish we had that here. We wish we could build those partnerships. We're going to keep plugging away. And for us, it's about getting dangerous people off the streets. So our target is to get dangerous people off the streets.